He comes to Clay, could, right here. Da, 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 da. All right. So, you make a men's section for the Heimish Oilim wants him. We lost him. Okay. So, who's starting? Question and answers. A good Tavach. Need a guinea pig first. Anybody here was here last year? Yeah? So we don't want, sometimes it could happen that you have the same discussions every year. That has to be, it has to be. But if you want to do something different. You remember that? Why aren't they here? They were so zees. It was an older couple who were here, and they were like, they were part of the they were part of the program. How did they bill it? What was it called? Ask anything you want, something like that. What's it? Questions and answers. Okay. Hopefully this week we don't go to 4 a.m. So I'm too old for this. Where are we starting? New? Someone's got to ask a question. No? All right, we're done. No questions? Yeah.
There was a question on your speech from yesterday.
Okay.
You were talking about like how big the obvious
Right.
and then what they do and just asking
How does
how does the plan work? Like what's the obvious?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, repeat the question. So the question is that I gave a shiur Friday night called, what was it called? It was called Chazak Ve'ematz. Chazak Ve'ematz. The difference between bravery and courage, or strength and courage, and how to achieve both of them. That was the shiur. So I gave an explanation of what Chazak and Ematz is, and you're pointing out that maybe what I said fits better for men. What's the implications of the difference that we discussed for women? So is there? Okay, so let me. I don't know. Most people probably weren't in the class, so I'll tell people what I came out with. I showed from the texts in Torah. Torah says Chazak ve'ematz many times, all about Yoshua. When Moshe is giving over the mantle, the reins of Klal Yisrael, the mantle of leadership to Yoshua, he tells him Chazak ve'ematz 3 times. Or he's talking to the Jews also, he says Chizku ve'imtzu, plural, then Yoshua Chazak ve'ematz, and then another time Chazak ve'ematz, and then the Torah ends, and Yoshua, the book of Yoshua, is the next sefer, starting with the life of Yoshua, and there in the first few psukim, it picks up where it left off, and it says 4 times Chazak ve'ematz in Yoshua. So what is Chazak ve'ematz? Basically, after a protracted discussion, I came out that the difference between Chazak ve'ematz is that we know that kids are scared of the dark. Everyone knows kids are scared of the dark. The secret is that adults are far more scared of the light than kids are of the dark. We love the dark. The dark is an excuse. It's an alibi for why I don't have to accomplish things. I have a built-in answer for lack of performance, and we love dark. We love, but the light scares us. Opportunities terrify us. In the same light, we're not scared of our weaknesses, our failings. We're scared of our potential and our koiches. That's what scares us. Should I repeat how I showed it? It's an interesting thing. We have a mitzvah in the Torah called Vidui Meiser. Fascinating mitzvah. There's different types of tzedakah that Jews have to give. But you don't have to do all of it in any one year because it's too much. You have to give the Aniyim and the Leviim, and then you have to take your own food, Ma'aser Sheni, and eat it in Yerushalayim. It's a lot of tenths. It adds up. So different years, you do different ones. In a 3-year cycle, you do all the Maasers. And Truma, and you do all these things. So there's a mitzvah, the 4th year, after you did all your Maaser, you gave all the tzedakah you could give, you did everything that Hashem wants of you, you come to the Beis HaMikdash, and you do a fascinating mitzvah. It's called Vidui Maaser. You give a speech. And the speech is like this: Hashem, here I am. Look at me, I gave this Maaser and that Maaser. Bi'arti HaKodesh min habayis. I got everything. There's nothing in my house that shouldn't be mine. Everything in my house is mine. What I was supposed to have, I didn't hold back the money for the Levi. I don't have the money of the Aniyim and the Yosem and the Almana. Everybody got what they want. Hashem, Osisi kol asher tzibisani. I did every single thing you wanted of me. Look at me. Hashem, test me. I'm perfect. I did this, a whole list, a whole checklist of what you did. And now you say, here's what gets worse. Now Hashem, Hashkiva b'may kadshcha. You look down from your place and you do what you promised. Just like I did what I was supposed to, you do. You're supposed to, you take care of your people. That's the speech. It's an interesting speech. Here we are, give speeches like very boastful, a little bit arrogant. But what's strangest about the speech is, what do you call this mitzvah? Vidui Maisa. What does vidui mean? Confession. Vidui is al-chet, ashamnu, bagadnu. This is literally the words of the Torah that are the furthest from vidui. Vidui is, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong. Here, what are you saying? I did this right, I did this right. Look at me, Hashem. Whether or not you can be boastful and say, Hashem, look what a tzaddik I am, fine. But to call it vidui, confession, it's crazy. Where's the confession in talking about your tzidkas? It's a famous kasha. What's a teretz? So teretz, a heavy teretz. Teretz, I said was, and that was the point of the shir, is that, it's not so easy to admit that you did an avera. It's uncomfortable, it's embarrassing, it takes a certain amount of bravery to admit to your averas. But that's not the real challenge. The real challenge is to admit to your holiness. To say, Hashem, I'm a tzaddik, that's real confession. Because when you admit what a good person you are, a tzaddik you are, you don't have averas, that creates real obligations and real expectations. You know how many Talmidim have told me, Rabbi, give up on me, I'm too far gone. It's a very appealing thing to convince your Rabbi, leave me alone, I'm not good, don't expect anything out of me. To admit that you're a tzaddik creates huge demands on you. And that's why it's called confession. In fact, once you know this, it's weird that Oshamnu is called confession. Admitting to an Avera, no, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's very liberating to admit to Averas. It means, Hashem, leave me alone, I'm not who you think I am, who do you think you're talking to? You're wasting your time. I have 100 Averas. Can I go chill now? That's like Hashamnu. To say to Hashem, I'm a tzaddik, so the way I explained it is that bravery is what it takes to face the darkness. You want to fight a war, you have to be brave. To face the darkness, you have to be brave. To admit to your averis, you have to be brave. But to wake up in the morning and face the day, to embrace life, that takes courage. The difference between bravery and courage is bravery is what it takes to face darkness and challenges and obstacles, and what it takes to face potential and joy is courage. Bravery is what you need for a war. Courage is what you need to walk down to a chuppah. Courage is what you need to make a commitment. Courage is what you need to be all in. And that's how it was Magdir, Chazak ve'ematz. We went to elaborate, and then we explained how you achieve these two things. It's a different skill set. If you want to help someone become brave, you want to help somebody face their demons, they need there's one training for that. You want to help somebody face the it's a whole different, that was the share. So you're asking, the way I explained it, is that different for a boy or a girl? I didn't even think about that. Let me think about it for a second while we're talking. I should have thought about it now, but can't think and talk at the same time. So, what do you think? You think that, Are girls scared of the light more than the dark, or is it different than a boy? I don't think so. Maybe it is. You know, I would tell you, maybe it is very different. You know why? Because a boy could convince himself. Let me tell you a secret of what it means. We say, let's get heavy very fast, okay? Because like people are up late at night, you can't just talk random things. You got to get heavy. There's a famous statement that everybody knows called "Noshim daiten kalis," right? All the feminists and all the people who want to pick fights for Judaism, this is on their short list of problems. What do you mean? Noshim, women, daitan, their knowledge, as kalis, they translate that women are like lightheaded. You know? They're not heavyweights in thinking. It's a very insulting phrase. So what's the MS? The Torah is not insulting. We know the Torah has, if anything, more respect for women than men. So then why would the Torah be insulting women? It's like everything else. It's only insulting when you're mistranslating it and not thinking about it properly and you're just being shallow. When you're responsible and you learn something what it means, you'll find out. So here's what Noshim Daitan Kalos means. First of all, the only word that people translate correctly over there is women, Noshim. Daitan, we have know what that is, and Kalos. The way you say weak in Hebrew is cholash. You don't say Kalos. Kalos is easy. Easy, right? Kal, something is kal is easy. Das is not thinking. Thinking is chachma. Thinking is bina. You know, when it comes to those things, actually, a woman has bina yasera. She has extra bina. Das is a fascinating process. Das is v'yodata hayoim v'hashayvoyse levavecha. It's more connected to the heart than the mind. What das is it goes in order. Chachma is information. You can know a lot of stuff. Read books, gather data, you have chachma. The person who knows the most things is a huge chacham. Bina is the same word as building, to be bona. Or children are called banim because their development, they're building on the path, on you. They're the next level. What is a thought process using the word building? It's the ability to deduce things. I have a lot of data, and now can I punch my data and learn new things that I didn't know based on what I have? That's called bina, right? Women do that fine. Chachma, there's no problems. After that comes something called das. Das is where my information is not abstract in my mind. I actually feel it. I'm yodeya. The Torah's word for intimacy is Adam knew Eve. Abraham, Avram knew son. Because it's intimacy. What is intimacy? I know you. Now I know you. When your information, when you feel it, I like to explain that das is sort of, Chochmah and das is the difference between prose and poetry. I could write a very nice essay about loneliness, and you'll go, oh, Rabbi, that's so deep. You know? I could write a poem about loneliness, and everybody starts crying. It's the same information. One is ideas, and one is chokhmah, and one's das. Das is somehow it's an intellectual information, but it connects to your heart. It's to feel your information. Someone who's yodeya gets it. In Musar Soram they call it emuna chushes, tangible belief. So what we say is like this, that women have a very easy das. Whatever they think, they feel right away. A boy das it's a struggle. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. See, what happens is, my definition of tsar, what's tsar? I don't mean physical pain. You know what emotional pain is? Emotional pain is the gap between my expectations and my limitations. Everybody has dreams, and then over time you develop a belief about what's possible for you to achieve. If there's a gap between what you want and what you believe you could have, that's pain. The pain is the gap between your dreams and what you could have. I'm never going to have what I dreamt of. That's suffering. So I called a lot of, I have to give over my language. The Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara are fancy words that we learn as kids. The grown-up understanding of those words, what does Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara mean? As adults, we can rethink these terms. The Yetzer Tov is your dreams. The Yetzer Tov is your desire, your longings, your yearnings. That's what it is. When the sound of Yetzer Hara is saying, you want to be huge, you're a dreamer, you want to be big. Dreams are the holiest thing in the world. The Yetzer Hara is your fears and your insecurities. The Yetzer Tov says, wow, you want to be a hero. The Yetzer Hara says, who are you fooling? You're not going to be a hero. You're going to kill dragons. No princess is interested in you. You're never going to happen. It's not going to work. You're going to get fried to a crisp. Right? The girl wants to be a Bas Melech. The dream of a Bas Melech is someone's going to fight to deserve me. That's a dream. It's not a dream to have fancy clothing, live in a palace. Much deeper than that. The reason why everybody watches Disney movies is because it's something so deep. It's that the princess dream is that I want to be so valued that someone is going to risk their lives to deserve me. That's the dream of Bas Melech. What happens when you believe that you're not going to be a Bas Melech? Who's going to fight to deserve me? So now you have pain. The pain is that I used to write a diary. I wrote all my dreams, and it's never going to come true. So, for a boy, this is not a big deal. Because the sound in his ears of what he wanted to be, I want to be a hero, I want to be the best guy in yeshiva, I wanted to be this. When he thinks that he can't be that, you know what he needs to do? Play Xbox. And he's fine. A little noise, go to a concert, I'm fine. Right? A little sports. Go play games, hang with my boys. Almost anything allows him to disconnect from his thoughts. He can literally turn off his thoughts. His das is not natural. It's a whole step for a boy to achieve das. For him, he has to literally go to yeshiva and have a Rabbi and sit by a kumsitz for hours, and after 4 hours of a kumsitz and maybe a little bit of beer, he can maybe start to feel his deepest dreams. An inkling. A girl, her das is kal. Every single thing that she thinks, she feels right away. Which is often very, very good. Be inspired. But often it becomes extremely painful. Because if I don't believe my dreams will come true, then how do I silence those dreams? Because I live with this pain and there's no answer. How do I silence? When you were a little kid in school and someone says something you don't like, the game was, I can't hear you. I can't, and then the guy talks louder, you scream louder. But when you're doing it with yourself, how loud can you scream? Girls don't really have a way to shut down the voice of their dreams. Their das is kal. That's what it means, daitem kalis. All it takes for a boy to disconnect from his deepest dreams is a little bit of noise. And this is why you find that most girls, it's very rare that girls become addicts. A boy can play games on his computer for hours. He can go gambling. He can go do anything that we do. Guys can get addicted to anything. Why? Because it really works. If I'm sitting there playing Xbox, every dream I ever had that might not come true, that I'm scared of or sad of, doesn't exist. I'm totally go to sleep like a little baby. A girl who doesn't have any way to shut down her dreams. It's a huge mila, but with that mila comes it's so much closer to perfection. But the suffering that comes from it is crazy. Let's get very heavy. Yeah.
Is that true though? That I'm saying with hypnotize, addiction.
Yeah. But girls do things that guys don't do. Sure. How many girls are sitting playing Xbox? Why not? Gambling. Go gambling. Go to Atlantic City. Go to all these things. The girls who are there are supporting their boyfriends in their gambling. They're along because that's where he wants to go, and they don't want to be separate from her. Not because girls don't like these things. But guys aren't doing it because they like it either. The reason why these things are so popular is not because they like them, it's because they need them. You need darkness to hide from your or. If you don't believe, listen, if you believe your dreams are coming true, then you don't want any distractions, right? I always say, the girl who's dating Prince Charming, there's nothing better than curling up with her diary and reading, like, I wrote about this. This is what I wanted for 30 years. Once the girl doesn't believe that any guy who's worth anything is interested, so then they burn their diaries because it's way too you know? It doesn't work to burn a diary because you wrote it. The author is still alive, you know? So, yeah.
Well, isn't it like an escape that they do?
It's escape.
So how can you change it without your
She's saying, oh, right, sorry. I gotta I'll repeat the questions for the, saying, isn't that the Xbox thing? Isn't that an escape, right? So you're asking, how can you change into a healthy escape? So let me ask you a question. That's a interesting phrase. I would argue that there's nothing called the healthy escape. Something could be a relatively healthy escape, meaning it's not as. What is escape? Let's define escape. Escape means what? What are you escaping?
the reality that you're in?
Okay, you're getting very fancy. You're a philosopher. Make pretend you were like dumb. What would you say? What are you escaping?
Yourself.
Life. Life. You're just escaping. So you know what we call that? Like I don't want to like be overly dramatic and like that's called suicide. I call that you're not really committing suicide because you're not brave enough, but you incremental suicide. I'm gonna do it one day at a time. I'll do it one opportunity at a time, 1 hour at a time. I'm just I'm suiciding in installments. That's what escaping is. So is there a healthy suicide? Right? So I guess there's more relatively ones, like relative. I'd rather somebody hang themselves than use a chainsaw. But that's like guy talk. That's like sick. Like, right? Like suicide, like running away is the saddest thing in the world. Life is so short. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a world. Look, think about yourself. Imagine you have a kid. You know? You have dreams for them, pictures of every stage of their life. And now they don't want to go to school, they don't want to do anything, they're making fun of everything, everything's the suffering that a parent has because they remember their kid when they were alive, when they were dreamers, and who did this to you, what happened to you? And does it make a difference what he's doing? I guess it makes a difference. There are escapes that are not recoverable from. Like I tell people, when I work with kids at risk, I tell people that for example, in Lakewood. In Lakewood, we're a very big community, so you have a lot of kids at risk. But what we discovered is, because of the goodness and the opportunities that we have for all these boys, is that 90% of them come back pretty quickly, over 90%. The only ones who don't get back, the numbers are not so good, are ones who get into hard drugs. So that said, I would say the hard drugs are an unhealthy escape. All escape is unhealthy, but it's worse, right? So the Xbox would be the healthiest escape. Right? No one's getting hurt, you know? Yeah.
You're saying that there's pain, right? So they go to the escape. So no one wants to live in pain. So how do you not live in pain, but not escape?
How do you not live in pain? So then you have, right? So what happens is you have to. What's the answer? Let's do it together. Let's do it mathematically. I have dreams, expectations. Now I have limitations. I define so far pain is the gap. I want this. I'm here. So I can think of 4 ways to solve the problem. Let's say 3 ways. 3 obvious ways to solve the problem. 2 of them bad, 1 of them good. Let's do the bad ones first. What are the bad ways to solve this pain? What? Getting rid of your dreams. Lowering my dreams. Lowering your dreams gets rid of the pain. Now my dreams And my expectations, right? I used to want to be a hero, and now I don't think I could be a hero. So now, we know I'm very good at drinking. I can say my whole name in a burp, So I can say, what my goal is? I want to be the biggest drinker in my fraternity. I want to be able to hold more alcohol than my friends. So when I find friends who think that's the coolest thing in the world, they go, you are the man! No one drinks like you! So now I succeeded at my dreams. I just changed my dreams from what I really wanted to these dreams that these guys think is cool. These guys support me in my dreams, right? So the first way to solve the problem of your pain of your dreams is lower your dreams. I'm not saying it works. I'm just saying, that's the point. It doesn't really work. You can't lower your dreams. They're your dreams. What you could do is, you can distract yourself from your dreams. You can bluff. Like, I explain this a lot in Shirim. We have this game we play with guys. Guys do this. I lose. I'll tell it the way I say it. A good way to say it. I was in camp in the summer, and our counselors made all of us call our parents before Shabbos. Now, there were 2 phones for the whole camp. We have 300 guys, 2 phones every Shabbos. I don't know how it works in a girls' camp, but a boys' camp, it's not a big problem. Because there's a long line, but it goes really fast. Because every conversation is, you listen, you sit in the line, it's like, I can imagine, I don't hear the parents' side, but I can guess from the answers. The answer is like this. Hi, Ma. That's what's up. Hi, Ma. Nothing much. Nothing special. Nothing really. Yeah, can I have more money for the canteen? Have a great Shabbos. Okay? When parents ask us what's new, what's happening, what's good, for boys there's basically 4 possible answers. And they're all only 2 words long. Right? And one of the 2 words is always the same. What are the 4 answers? It's a good riddle. 4 answers, all of them 2 words long, and one of the words is always the same. Nothing much, nothing special, nothing really, nothing new. That's the whole variety of all the conversations. Why do we do this? We love our parents, they love us, hopefully. Okay, at least some of the kids online know is like that, right? Everyone. So why does this happen like that, right? What's the answer? You know what the answer is? I'll tell you the secret. Because when I was 8 years old, I wanted to be the greatest. I wanted to be a hero. I was jumping off the couch with a towel tied around my neck. That's what I wanted to be. And then a lot of stuff happened. And I had this Rabbi and this guy and these older Bachrim who said this to me, and this Shadchan who said, you're dreaming, La La Land, and this girl who dumped me, and this yeshiva didn't accept me, and whatever happens, whatever year, there's always something. And eventually you say, who am I fooling? I'm not going to be a hero, right? So now it's so painful to think about my dreams. So what I do is I find a whole new group of friends, okay? Give me my guinea pig. And I go, here's what you do. You find a whole new group of friends who don't remember you when you were jumping off the couch with a towel, when you wanted to save the world, when you were a hero. They don't remember that. New friends. And we play this game. I go, I'm watching you. You are the man. What's your job? What do you say?
Thank you.
That's it? Do better. You're the man.
You're the man.
Thank you. No, you're the man.
You.
Come on, you're the man. You're doing good. You go. No, you're the man, Rabbi. You are the man. And then after going back and forth 4 or 5 times, what do we say? You know what? We're the men. We are the men. It's a social contract. What it is I won't call you out. You don't call me out. We'll both affirm the other that you're everything you ever wanted to be. If I have all new friends who don't remember my real dreams, and they now they tell me that I'm everything, there's no one like you. You are the best drinker. You are a party animal. Remember when you did that? So if I hang around these guys only, then I can feel like the biggest complete person in the world. Because everyone is going, whoa! I come into the party and goes, he's here! It's like, and I could live like that until my parents call. And then my parents call, I talk on the phone with my parents, and my parents say, what's new? You know what the translation of what's new is? So how much closer are you to all those things you wanted to be when you were 8 tzaddik? That's a translation of parents saying what's new. And they have no idea how much pain they're causing me. Because I just spent 8 years finding all new friends, losing anybody who reminded me of that. I finally... What? What should... No, that's what you should ask. That pain is a good pain. Yeah, you can't let a person drown. Well, if they stop calling... It's so loud. But, it's beautiful. It's good. We can do both. See, they think they're by a concert. We're at a shir and a concert. Okay? Right? At least the women who can do two things at one time are. Right? I keep on switching. Concert, okay, back to the shir. Just flipping back and forth real fast. Okay, so when we finish this, yeah, go ahead. You,
I'm just thinking that I'm not sure I agree with you, because if a guy calls his parents and he gives those short answers, it's because men are not relationship beings. If the parents ask the same
why
question
aren't we?
to a girl, she's gonna give every little detail
Right.
about everything, whether she has dreams, doesn't have
Let's say-
dreams anymore.
But when a boy's doing really well in life and he's everything he wanted to be, he doesn't stop talking. He comes home to mommy with every little piece of artwork. Put this on your fridge, ma. Hang this up. Tell everybody about it. That's all we want. We only become not relationship beings because we're usually not being who we wanted to be. So we don't want our mothers with those big eyes telling me, no. That's what every conversation with mommy sounds like. You don't mean it. You're not trying to cause pain. But just saying what's new causes him pain. So what we do is, we go nothing much, nothing special. Like, don't go there. Now, our parents aren't trying to hurt us. They don't realize this. They look at their kids like they're the same kid when they were 8. They still think you're a rock star. And they're looking at you and they're going, what's new? Because they think you're that kid. They don't know what you went through. They went through their own rejections in their own life, and they gave up their own dreams. But they think you're perfect. My kid's still perfect, and I can say what's new, and they don't know it cuts like a knife. So the kid says, it's a chutzpahdik. He says nothing new, nothing special. He wants to change the topic. Let me go back to the people who don't remind me of this stuff. So that's how to get to this. Well, I'm going to get there. I take like a lot of steps to get where I'm going. And then, so someone has to keep me. I need a navigator. Yeah. Well, go ahead. Ask. We're gonna figure out in a second where we were. But meanwhile, go ahead. Healthy escape. Okay, so so good. I'm gonna get back to the escapes. I'm gonna get a little graphic and scary, a little heavy, but I want to work my way there. So. Why was I doing the parent thing? I was explaining how we escape. I was giving an example of guys' escapes is this game, the social contract game. You're the man. It's a social contract. We all gonna create this little bubble where I'm the happiest guy in the world. In that bubble I can live as long as I'm around those guys. During vacation, all the guys go home. It's tough. It's tough. So we have ways, for guys it's very simple. Noise canceling headphones. Magic. It's not noise they cancel, it's reality they cancel. I'm living in the music and the real world is gone. If there's no noise canceling headphones, there's movies, games. It doesn't take much for me to escape my truths and live benachas. For a girl, it doesn't work like that. A girl, there's almost nothing that she could do. It's a very important thing that Hashem built into the world. Because why is Hashem cruel? He wanted to torture women? Why would he do this? Because you guys heard me say what I said Friday night about the mechitza. It's hard. People were here. Hashem created guys with. I'm not going to repeat that thing, but I'll add to it. So if you heard it, you'll hear something new. A guy has everybody has a Yetzer Tov and a Yetzer Hara. What's the guy's Yetzer Tov? The guy's Yetzer Tov is his dream. I said his dream. Our dream. Anyway, your Yetzer Tov is your dreams. The Yetzer Hara is your fears, and they fight it out. The Yetzer Hara says you want to be great. The Yetzer Hara says, "Who you fooling? Not me. It's worthless." And they fight it all day long. When the Yetzer Toiv wins, you jump out of bed with fire and you go do things, you get a job and you sail and you make money and you're smiling and everyone loves you and you're just matzliach. When the Yetzer Hara wins, you feel like nothing, you're miyayish, you live in tsar, you pull the cover over your head, you push the snooze button 15 times, you ignore your messages, ignore your phones, you ignore your boss, and your life falls apart. And the Yetzer Toiv wants you to have joy, the Yetzer Hara wants to keep you down. Convince you to give up. That's. Now, there's one thing in the world that makes a man choose his Yetzer Toiv over his Yetzer Hara. What is the thing? Not maybe one, but there's one primary thing that Hashem put in the world. Hashem created the whole world. He said like a perfect story. He lined up a world. The world is full of bracha and hiding places. You can dance in his gan. You can hide in the bushes. Two options. Then he gave you a Yetzer Toiv that makes you want to dance, and the Yetzer Hara makes you want to hide. So it's perfectly set up. Two options: a garden, bushes. A desire for the garden, a will to hide in the bushes. The last thing missing is to make it happen, like to plug it in. What's the plug? What's the last thing Hashem made in the world? After Chava. The purpose, again, Chava has her own job also, but the purpose of Chava vis-a-vis Adam is the woman is the thing that makes a man choose his ambition over his fears, makes him choose his dreams over. Every boy who ever lived has that dream. It's a universal dream to get the princess, to kill a dragon and get a princess. I don't think there's a shir at the gave. I don't almost mention this somehow, because it's the simplest, neatest way to describe the Yetzer Toiv. What is the dream for a Bas Melech? I want something that just represents all that can be so good and so holy and so pure and so ruch. It's like I said, God is very far away to a 14-year-old boy. Unless you suffered, and most people, Baruch Hashem, by 14 are not suffering. A 40-year-old man who has kids and who's gone through the whole thing, so he knows who God is. But a 14-year-old boy doesn't know who God is. What is the representation of Ruchnius to a 14-year-old boy? A Bas Melech. A good, frum girl who's big eyes, bright, wide-eyed, no guilt, no shame, just lichtig, good, kind, deep. And that's not a Jewish thing, it's a universal thing. Every little girl, the Disneyland wasn't made for Beis Yaakov girls. It wouldn't support itself. Every girl who ever lived, every year Disney cranks out a new princess movie. The same story. Beautiful princess, knight in shining danger. Knight in shining armor risks everything to save her. He'll try and derail a locomotive to untie her from the tracks. Climb a tower with no bungee cord to free her from the tower. Kill the dragon, melt the witch, whatever it is. The story, it's just a different princess with a different danger and a different guy with a different white horse and a different sword and different brass buttons. But he's going to save a princess. It's a universal dream. The girl's dream is to be so valued and so admired that people are going to risk their lives to deserve me. It's the most validating thing in the world. Someone's going to fight to deserve you. The boy's dream is, I want to be validated. I am so good and so special that I will deserve the princess. The boy wants to deserve her, she wants to be deserved. And that's the perfect world. In the perfect world, where girls preserve their dignity and their tara, every guy is going to want to deserve her and will have to become great. Changes the world. The thing that makes men get out of bed in the morning and conquer the world is a Bas Melech. So the Yetzer Toiv of a boy craves a princess. The dark side is that the Yetzer Hara of a boy, his fears and insecurities, hates the princess. The princess is a threat to his chill. He wants to give up. He doesn't believe he can be a hero. I just want to sleep. But the princess, I can't sleep. I have to be a mensch. I have to do this. I have to go to chakras. I have to learn. I have to be careful how I talk. There's a way you have to act with a princess. So my healthy part of me that believes in myself, my dreams, says, I want a princess. The broken part of you that thinks you can't do anything, and I don't have anything great, the princess is a threat. It's like total pressure. So that part of the man wants a broken girl. A girl who's lost her dreams and lost her expectations, and I can go with her and I don't have to be anything. And the struggle of life at that age, most ages, is half of me wants the best girl in the world, and I'm going to raise my game to deserve her, and half of me wants a broken girl who don't have to do anything. It's a very simple way to understand the world. So, according to this story so the thing that makes the entire world work is the princess. And the truth is, people like hearing this, that's why I say it a lot, but everybody knows it. You don't need me to tell it to you. This is Aleph Beis. That's not just, you know how you know they know it? You look at how much work is done in the world to destroy the princesses. Because the world, most of the world has given up. That's the world out there. They just want to chill. Chilling isn't the dream. What's chilling? Chilling is just a really cool way to market failure. What's the process of chilling? Basically lying flat on your back. How is that great? No, it's just a really smart advertising guy who, instead of calling it Nebuch, broken loser, said, no, he's a chiller. Why is it appealing to lie flat on your back? You know why? Because it's impossible to fall when you're already on the floor. If I don't have a job, you can't fire me. If I don't want to get married, I'm not single. If I hate money, I'm not poor. Chiller is the secret of chill. You know what the secret of chilling is? Is don't care about anything. If you don't care about anything, you can never get hurt. I can't even say I like that movie because someone will go, oh my God, that's just a shallow movie. So I never say I like a movie. I can't say I like a book. Let's go, you read that book? It's for like fourth graders. So people discover early on that the safest, coolest way to live is don't care about anything. And we look at those people, we don't say never, we say they're so cool. Coolness is to be safe from insult, safe from being vulnerable. And the way they're safe from being vulnerable is not because they got their stuff together and nobody could find flaws, it's because they stopped caring. So you can't fire me, I quit. I can't fall, I'm already on the floor. It's totally giving up. It's a very sad marketing trick. And then the whole world grows up wanting to chill. Chilling is very, very dangerous. Now the men in the world want to chill. Because most people didn't have good rebellion. They weren't inspired. They've done a lot of bad stuff. They feel guilty and ashamed. When you feel guilty or ashamed or dirty, then you don't believe you're going to be a hero. So now what? So now every time I see a princess, I feel sick with myself. You remember, when I was 8, I believed I could have that. And she reminds you of everything you wanted to be. Causes pain. So what do you do now? So the mission of the world is, can we destroy all the princesses? Can we rob women of all their dignity? Can you imagine what would happen if we could rob all the women of their dignity? Then we can all sleep forever. No one has to do anything. You can close all the yeshivas and all the businesses. A world without princesses will be a world without heroes. Nobody needs to be a hero. Can you imagine a world with zero pressure? To some people, it sounds really beautiful. So they need to destroy women. But the Rabbi Shalom, who created the world with the purpose of people dancing in the Gan, the most valuable thing in his entire world is a Bas Melech. There's nothing more important, because she is the thing that will make the entire world light up. If they succeed at destroying the women, then there'll be nobody. So the Torah's primary concern is to preserve the royalty of women. And therefore, the first thing he did is when you have couriers who are carrying suitcases of diamonds. So every diamond, from the movies, where every diamond suitcase comes with something else. What does it come with? A handcuff. Right? They handcuff it on. Because a suitcase of diamonds, you're not losing it. It comes with a handcuff. So the royalty of women, the depth of women, the dreams of women are handcuffed. You'll never be able to lose them. There's nothing that you could possibly do that'll make yourself like a guy not caring about their dreams. Now, if you're good, that's the most beautiful thing in the world. But if you're not doing well, then it's really, really painful. There's no off switch. And this is why guys become addicts so easily and addicted to anything. People think drugs. No, a guy can be addicted to checkers. Can be addicted to the most foolish things. The games that guys sit on their phones with for hours, the most meaningless things. And then they send you ads in the middle of the game for other games. And you click on every one and download every one. And your phone is full of 400 games. And any one of those can keep you busy for a month. Because it's so easy for escape. It's numb. And I don't feel any tsar. It's very sad. Because if you feel numb, your tsar stops, but you have nothing to motivate you. And life goes very, very fast. So this is the sad thing. Now, so I think men and women are very different like that. The fear to face the light and the desire to sit in the darkness are very different for boys and girls. Because for girls, the darkness is not such an option. There is no darkness. Where are you going to go that the princess voice is quiet? There's nowhere. It's very sad. So what happens is, so girls do like stuff that guys don't do. I don't know if this is like so weird to put on tape, but you don't find boys cutting themselves. Why not? Because if an Xbox does the job, why do I have to cut? How does cutting work? You have to be so holy and so deep for it to work. Cutting is like this, is that I have this voice in my head how holy I am. And I don't feel holy. So I'm suffering all day because I'm looking at my dreams. I burned my diary. I thought it was good, but I'm not reading it, but I'm still thinking it. I found all new friends and they make fun of everything beautiful in the world, but I know that they're all not true. It's not working for me. I tried everything in the world that guys do. I do the you're the man game, you're the girl game. Doesn't sound as good, but you're the girl, I'm the girl, whatever. I try that game, it doesn't work. Nothing's working. And it's so painful to think about what I want to be. So you know what I do? I create new pain. And the new pain is so new, it's immediate. I don't even think about my old pain because I have new pain. It masks the old pain. Now, why is this pain better than the old pain? Pain is pain. No, pain is not pain. Because this pain I created. It's easier to tolerate pain that you made than pain that controls you that you have no control over. This pain is just physical, just hurts. But I made it. So there's no emotional, I don't feel controlled by it. There's no emotional power. I'm in control of the pain. I can turn it on or off. So the new pain is only physical. It masks my pain that I feel. It's a very, very deep thing. The crazier thing that people do to silence their neshama is it's the single easiest way to measure the power of a neshama is how crazy things do you have to do to silence it. A little weak neshama needs a little headphones. Bigger neshamas need noise canceling headphones. Cutting the crazier things that girls do means that more powerful than neshama is. How loud do you have to scream to shut down your neshama? It's literally an upside down world. The worst things a person does is a louder testament to the potential and the holiness of that person's neshama. And it's an obvious thing when you think about it. It's not like some crazy thing I'm saying. It makes total sense. Yeah.
You talking all of this about like teenagers?
I wish it was only teenagers.
Because what you're saying is like most people have no self-esteem, or they wouldn't behave that way. If someone has good self-esteem and they like themselves, they love themselves.
You're throwing around words like self-esteem like it's jelly beans. Oh, just go to a store and buy self-esteem.
No, but if somebody feels good about themselves and is confident,
Exactly.
maybe it's not self-esteem.
No. If someone feels good about themselves,
And they say, "Oh, I like this movie," and someone else says, "Oh, yeah, well, I don't care."
oh,
what you,
so
you don't
good.
have to like
So
it. I like
thank you. You're keeping me on track. I started this segment of the talk saying that all pain is the gap between your dreams and your limitations, and there's 3 ways to solve it. 1 good one and 2 bad ones. That's what I said. Everything I said now was just elaborating on one of the bad ones. We still need to say the good one. You're already jumping to the good one, which is good because I wasn't going to get there. I had no memory of where I was going. So it's good you did that. So now that we're back on track, from now on, somebody keep track. Okay, I need a navigator. I need someone taking notes, like just so we know where we are. So we'll never get back to us.
listening to what you say, I'm thinking, well, this is a very sad state of affairs.
Of course.
Everybody thinks that
Right.
way. That
So you were like me. You also didn't remember what I was saying. I was saying there's two bad ways and a good way. Bad way number one. Again, let's say it the way we did it. We'll go on to bad way number two now. Bad way number one is I have dreams and expectations. The pain is the gap between the two of them, and I don't believe I'm going to be who I want. That hurts. The first way to solve it is what? Silence your dreams. Get rid of your dreams. My dreams are gone. Then my limitations aren't the problem. My pain is gone. Guys have an easy time getting rid of their dreams. Headphones, some noise. Girls have a much easier time. Yeah.
Girls don't have any dreams?
Right.
Why not?
Because their dreams are so loud. Doesn't silence so easy. Tell me the escape. What's the escape? That's what I said.
Personally, I go dance. Personally, I go watch movies.
And
Or I go out with friends.
it works.
No, and then after
Maybe
that,
you have nothing. Maybe you have nothing to be embarrassed of.
no, like,
A movie would work for.
escape, and then I deal with that after.
A movie works for you, not because movies work. It's because you don't have so many dark secrets that you have to silence. You still believe that you're good. You still believe that you deserve a great guy. You still believe someone's going to fight to deserve you. So you don't need to silence so much. You're silencing, I had a bad day. You know? So that a movie works for. It's not silencing your dreams. The people, when I say it doesn't work, a movie doesn't work for a girl, I'm talking about doesn't work for what? For silencing her dreams. The real pain. Not a bad day. A guy, even the biggest dreams are not, that pain is not silenced by a movie. Yeah, so a movie's not working for that. If that stuff worked, there'd be a lot more girls in Atlantic City. There'd be a lot more girls on Xboxes. There are, you know, a lot more girls drinking beer. Yeah, because drugs are a whole different level. Drugs work. Hard drugs work. Hard drugs works the same for all of us. So let me do the other bad side first. Before we do the good side, okay? Then we'll spend the rest of the night talking about the good side. I first want you to picture the bad side. Bad way number one is to get, again, I want you to guess it on your own now. Because once I'm setting up, it's like mathematical. The gap between your dreams and your limitations is painful. So one cure is deny my dreams. Okay, no dreams. Now I'm good. Okay, stupid dreams I can do. Okay, I want to, right? Let's figure out. I want to be the biggest drinker. That I can do. Okay, what's the other way? Deny your limitations. What's that? Cheating, lying, cutting the line, manipulating people, scaring them to kowtow to what you want. People don't accept the limitations. I don't have what I want, I'll steal it, I'll take it, I'll bully people. It also doesn't really work because it's not yours. You can't really enjoy it. Yeah, I can, when I'm driving in the stolen car, my friends are all with me, it's a lot of fun. But as soon as I drop everybody off at home, I'm sitting in my driveway, it's not my car. The kid who worked the whole summer made $800 and he bought a rusty car from the newspaper. The air conditioner doesn't work, the radio doesn't work, rolls down the windows. He could drive around with his friends for like $1 million. When he drops them off at home in his driveway, maybe he has no gas even, he can't take his friends. He has no money for gas, he used up all his money on the car, but he can come home at night from work and he can sit in the car in his driveway and feel like a king on his throne. Paid for this car, it's mine. It's real. It's joy. But if you steal it, it's fake. The two things you can deny is you can deny your dreams or you can deny your limitations. There's another way to say it. I'll give you two ways to say it. The way to say it is denying your dreams is denying you. Denying your limitations is denying everybody else. Or you could say denying my dreams, it's two different ways to see it. Because my limitations is where I end, is where you start. So extending where I end into your term is denying you. So these are the two unhealthy ways. There's another unhealthy way, but let's get to the positive way. So what's the positive way? How do you deal with the pain of dreams and limitations?
So you can deny your limitations by saying, I can do that. I don't have to steal. I can work hard.
So so that's not really a limitation. Then you, beforehand you're not denying limitations. It means beforehand you were denying your abilities. It's a lie. They're not my limitations. We're talking about if there really are limitations. Right? You're right, but your case is most people's examples as it wasn't limitations. Maybe that's part of the cure. I should say that. There are preliminary cures. Intro to the good way is first establish that your limitations were real limitations and your dreams were your real dreams. Maybe you had crazy dreams. Maybe you wanted to fly. If you're a boy and you wanted to fly, then you had a retarded dream. Something happened with that dream coming. It's not a natural dream. You want a bas melech, that makes sense. There are bas melechs, plenty of them, right? But if your dream is to fly, so you first have to check. I shouldn't say that. Let's make a checklist of all the steps, like a pilot, right? Before you take off. Okay. So first check. First, number one is you're right. You just reminded me of a sad song from when I was. There's certain non-Jewish songs that even yeshiva were allowed to listen to, like at times. In those days, Harry Chapin, like the Cats in the Cradle. So he had a song called Taxi. He's driving his taxi, and he what am I doing that on the Torah anytime thing? Whatever. But he's talking about his dreams when he was a kid of driving a taxi. And now he goes, and my dreams come true. Now I'm flying in my taxi. It's very sad. Flying my taxi. And the girl in the story, she dreamed of being an actress. And now she's acting happy. Very sad song. And me, I'm flying in my taxi. Whatever. So I hope you have an editor. Okay? No, it's kosher. I think it's kosher. I'm not your Rabbi Machshir,
If you want to add, let me know.
No, it's not. It's your decision. Sorry if I hurt anyone's sensitivities. I'm a little sorry. Not so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So first check that your dreams aren't false dreams and your limitations aren't false limitations. If we establish that your dream is a real dream and your limitations are real limitations, so what's the answer? So many answers. Let me say the simplest answer. Simplest answer is called patience. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world as a gan. And he created me. That means my gan is available to me. Hashem is not the guy in camp who took the daddy long legs and pulled their legs off on time. The guy in your bunk? That's not God. He didn't create you to torture you. If something's happening, then the only thing I can guarantee you is the wrong answer is he's here to hurt you. That's the wrong answer. He's a native. So that means that you're not ready yet. There's a process. The answer to most things is patience. Why do you think you're supposed to Can you imagine how many people would go to princess movies from Disney if the princess would be in danger and she'd go, oh, I wish someone had saved me. And poof, he's there, saves her. Gotta take an hour. It's gotta be built up. It has to be a process. You have to see Rocky, jogging, running up and down those stairs for months, and you have to be lifting weights. You want to see the guy. You want to see the guy getting chavrusas and a tutor and learning every day after Seder and going to Musar Shmuzim, and slowly you want to watch the scenes of how he's changing. And all of a sudden you see his payas are growing a little bit, and all of a sudden he's not wearing sneakers, no more Crocs or whatever those clogs they wear. Now he's getting real shoes, and then get further on, and all of a sudden now he's carrying a Gemara to school, and then you see he's wearing a hat, and you like the process. The process is powerful. Life is a process. Every step is magical. The Baruch Shalom wants you to have every step of the journey. Last week's parsha we had right after the Seres HaDibros. So halacha loisale b'mal loisal mizbechi. You're not allowed to climb the mizbeach with stairs. It has to be a ramp. Right? You know the halacha? If you build a mizbeach, the mizbeach was very high. How did the kohen get to the top? There was a ramp. Why couldn't there be stairs? Halacha loisal about why? Asher loisigole ervascha alav. That you shouldn't be exposed. Shouldn't expose himself to the mizbeach. It's a nice thought, but I don't understand how it works technically, because the kohen had shmeina begadim. One of the begadim was michtasayim. He was wearing pants. It wasn't like he was just wearing there's no exposure to the steps. So how do we understand going up a ramp versus going up steps? Besides, let's say you were. Why is a ramp and steps any less exposed if you don't? But you're wearing pants. Two questions, right? How does a ramp get rid of that problem? So people say this. I don't know. None of it worked for me ever. The explanation is that it's metaphorical. Like most of the things in Torah, it of course it's halacha practically, but Hashem is not wrapped up in whether people are going up ramps or steps. He wants us to understand how to live our lives, and as humans, we need visual, practical lessons. What does a ramp versus stairs teach me in an existential sense? Is that if I want to get to the top of my mizbeach, I want to be I want to do my service to Hashem. I want to be who I was meant to be. There are different ways to get there. I took a lot of students over the years to Eretz Yisrael on trips. One of the highlights of every trip is you go to Masada. Right? You go sunrise when it's not too hot. You climb the mountain. There's always one guy in every group who, when no one's looking, he sneaks off, takes the cable car. You know, you get to the top and he's there and he pours his canteen over his head, so he looks all schwitzed up, so nobody knows that he, you always know which guy he was. Or you can bust the guy, because when you have the group picture, I can always tell you who took the cable car. He's either the guy in the middle who's like the most overcompensating, how animated he is, like, whoa, that's the guy who took the cable car. He has to over exaggerate his experience. Or the more simple thing is he's the guy in the corner, like everyone else is like, we just climbed the mountain. He's like all awkward, like he doesn't belong there. Either he's shrinking into the corner or he's over dramatic in his. But we know who the guy who climbed is, right? Because he feels guilty and ashamed because he took shortcuts and he cheated. A cable car is not climbing a mountain. If you get to where you want to get in life and you did it with a cable car, then you're exposed. Your erva is exposed. Your nakedness is exposed because you cheated and it's not real. And you're vulnerable to other people finding out, or you yourself know, and you can't look yourself in the mirror. If you want to live life without that feeling, you have to go on a ramp. A ramp hits every step along the way, doesn't miss anything. You accomplish what you accomplish through every step. That's the kid who paid for his rusty car for $800. He can sit in the car and feel like he's on a throne, even though the car can't go anywhere because he has no money for gas. It's a throne. It's my car. That's a ramp. He paid for it. When you steal it, it's a cable car, and it's shame. Torah is saying the most unbelievable lesson. Your avodah, your mizbeach, you're going to serve Hashem. Don't climb on stairs. Jumps. Stairs are not as bad as a cable car. Stairs are, or maybe they're worse. Stairs are a cable car masquerading as a ramp. Sort of a ramp. No, it's just a lot of jumps. It doesn't hit every stop. Whatever, it's a more complicated. I don't want to get into it because the menorah did have stairs. What's up with that, right? So I could do it, but no one. I don't trust anyone who's going to remind me to get back on track. So in life, that's the ramp. If your dreams came true the second you have them, it would be a cable car. The reaction to the gap, the holy reaction to the gap between your dreams and your expectations is not pain. It's, a ramp. Cool, a ramp. This must be a mizbeach. When you're not where you want to be, the translation is, wow, this is a ramp. My dreams are a mizbeach. And mizbeach goes step by step. And that's the truth of life. Every day you have skills that you didn't have the day before. Most things, I heard a very wise thing from think it was Rebbe in Greenblatt. She spoke in my community years ago, and one of the women asked her, I don't see myself ever wearing a shaitel. So she said, maybe. But you know how it works when you're very far away, you don't see things. Usually, things can be very, very far, like I don't see it, it must be out of sight. Or it could be that it's very close, just around the corner. It could be 4 feet away, but if you turn the corner, it's there. You didn't turn the corner yet. And you don't know what's within your realm of possibility, because every corner you make, you get a whole new vantage point. When you don't believe that your dreams are coming true, because the path to who you are is a ramp, and it's full of corners. It's this elaborate ramp, and every day you get new vantage points, and it'll become clearer and clearer what you could have. And patience, life is, it's a very not real expectation that things should come right now. No, and I don't think anyone really has that expectation. It's only the type of expectation that someone who's insecure and doesn't think they deserve it has. It's like why do people pursue instant gratification? Better yet, what's wrong with instant gratification? What's wrong with instant gratification? What's wrong with it? Isn't that good? Why should I wait?
Not good because you don't get as much pleasure out of instant
Why not?
gratification than something
I don't say it's
works a
pizza.
little bit
It's pizza. Pizza. I want to get frozen pizza, put it in the oven, or I have the same pizza fresh, and it'll take me another 45 minutes. That's a bad example, but there's
Pizza only
there's
takes
nothing
12 minutes.
there's nothing
If you want to eat a pizza that's baked for 45 minutes.
there's nothing wrong with instant gratification. Why not? How quick it comes. What's wrong with instant gratification is simple. I'll tell you what it is. You understand where I'm not asking the question properly. But what's wrong with instant gratification is only if I have choice of, let's say, 5 choices. Here, I have instant gratification. I have the cheapest gratification. I have the most popular gratification. I have the best gratification. I have the most unique gratification. What's the right choice? What's wrong with instant gratification is the wrong choice. The right choice is the best gratification, maximum gratification. That's the right choice. You choose the best thing, not the quickest thing. It's not wrong to get things fast. It's wrong to trade something better for something fast. So why do people pursue instant gratification? Why do we do that? What? Why not? What is the lack of patience? Why are we not patient? What? You don't have. Okay, so why can't I wait for it? Because you don't believe that it's gonna. I'm gonna wait and I'm never gonna get it. If you believe that you're gonna get it over time, then you're not choosing the quicker thing. The only reason people take shortcuts and do things quickly or do things easy is because they think that if I try the hard thing, the long thing, I'm never going to last to the end anyway. I'm not going to get it. I might as well just take what's of it. Better one in the hand than 2 in the bush. That's the expression. That's not a really good principle. It's not a Torah principle. Why? What must be true for someone to say better 1 in the hand than 2 in the bush? They don't believe that they're going to get what's come later. Then it makes sense to choose now. So the prerequisite to choosing instant gratification is that you don't believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, you'll wait. So that's the only reason it's wrong. The reason people choose shortcuts or things is because everybody knows that it would be cooler to earn it. I just think if I do it the real way, I'm not going to earn it. Right? So let me at least take what's here. That's the reason people take shortcuts. Who's keeping track of where we were? What? A little bit, but it was a long time ago. We started that. Where we were up to, yeah.
You're saying that one of the answers to like
Patience.
But a lot of dreams that people have, and dreams they have, are dreams that can't be fulfilled.
Why?
Meaning, let's say someone wants to be a mother, right? And it's not going to happen. So patience is not going to help them. It's not going to take away
In a case where they're too old to have children, it's like, it could happen. Hi.
I think there's so many examples of
Okay.
extra
Yeah. There's things in life that are chukim also, right? There's chukim and mishpatim. There are things that are harder to figure out, and we could talk about them, and it's worth talking about. But it's very dangerous to talk about these things for one reason, that 99% of our tsar is things that we're not thinking right about and we can solve. And to ask the questions from the few things that are real questions distracts us from, yes, there are children with Yana Machla. That doesn't mean that all the pain that I ever felt I deserved.
Even some violence, right? You're saying that it doesn't take away the pain now.
Why not?
Let's say someone.
What's the pain?
Given
The pain is only when you don't think it's happening. If you believe in it, you know it's.
You know it's happening, but you want it now.
Does a kohen? You think any kohen was ever like in pain because of the ramp? He knew the ramp is 47 steps. And 47 steps will be on the top. If we had that clarity that life is a ramp and a Kodesh Baruch Hu is giving me what I wanted, we would be like a kohen climbing a ramp. We just don't believe we're going to get there.
I don't think it takes away the pain in the moment just because you know that.
I don't know. The pain is, you don't have the pain if you believe you're going to get there. It's exciting. Journey is the most fun. Kid on a trip to a Chalmai trip, the whole bus ride, it's like giggling and giddy, the whole thing. Wearing your clothing the night beforehand. Where's the pain in that? Because he's never experienced dreaming and wanting something that he didn't get there.
Because it's not painful to not be on a hallway trip.
Why not? That's all he thinks about. The only Chalmai trip in his mind is the biggest thing in the world. How is that different than anybody else's dream? In fact, it's bigger for him. And let's say not Chalmai trip. What's big? His mommy went to the hospital to have a new baby brother. Right? That's a big thing. Yeah? It's not here yet. It takes 9 months. Right? Is he suffering for 9 months? No, his mother told me it's 9 months. Every day is exciting. I mean, 9 months yet? No pain. We don't have the clarity that it's coming because we don't believe in ourselves. Not the God we don't believe in. We're going to read next week. Parshas Amalek, Zohar. Right, what does Klal Yisrael say? Amalek comes when Klal Yisrael says, Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu im oyin. Is Hashem amongst us or not? That's a heavy question. Doesn't mean what people think it means. When you say, is Hashem amongst us or not, who are you questioning? If you question Hashem, you say, is there Hashem or not? If you say, is Hashem amongst us or not, what are you saying? There is Hashem. It's just, does he hang around me? Or does he not want to be anywhere near me? Who are you not believing in that case? Yourself. The lack of emunah, at least in Klal Yisrael's history, is not a lack of emunah in Hashem. Right? There's a very nice way people say it. It's not an issue whether I believe in Hashem. I don't believe Hashem believes in me. The reason why I think Hashem doesn't believe in me is because I don't believe in me. Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu is that when you don't believe you're good, then the waiting is torture. Because you don't know, I'm not going to believe it till I see it. But when you know that you're good and you're on track and you're doing what you're supposed to do, the way every kid is until he's tasted copping out, this experience of a kid not having any tzara waiting is only true until he's had his first cheating and copping out. Because then he feels tahar and he has no belief that anything's going to go wrong. So that kid feels no pain waiting as long as it is. You tell him how long it is, he might ask you 30 times a day, is it Tuesday yet? You know? Is it whatever it is? Purim? Is it Purim yet? Right? And you say, no, Moshe, you asked me yesterday. I told you 3 weeks. The only one day, right? So there's no pain in that. It's just giddy excitement. It's not coming fast enough. Because he believes it's coming. You have to believe two things to believe something's coming. You have to believe that Hashem made the world to give, and that I am still eligible for the giving. If any one of those goes, then waiting becomes terrifying. Yeah.
I'll see, I thought of an example. I'll see this as a parent, right? Who has a child who's struggling and not trying to do today. So let's assume the situation. They have their expectations that their child should be with the system, doing the right thing, and then there's limitations. Their child's not following through with that.
Right.
So let's say they're given a prophecy, right? In 20 years from now, your child's going to settle down, they're going to slowly be showing toes, they're going to be with the program. Does that take away the pain in the moment that their child is not serving Hashem, is not keeping coming to? No, it doesn't. It's still painful reality. Even though they know
Because
expectations are going to be met in 20 years.
it's interesting.
You could excise a little bit.
Say the question?
Something, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the question is, just because, let's say parents got a nevuah that their kid was in a bad place and suffering, it's going to be good in 20 years, right? So that doesn't change the fact that right now they're suffering. That's the question. So we say a few things. First of all, it's interesting. I'm not sure it doesn't change the fact. What? Right. And if it could. Let's say the nevuah was. You don't even need nevuah. The nevuah makes it more tangible for us who don't believe regular life. But let's say there was a nevuah. The nevuah was this is going to be good. But let's say the nevuah was that everything he suffered is going to change him for the better. It's going to be magic. This kid is going to be so deep and so sensitive that he's going to look back one day and say, wow, every moment of my tsar was worth it. If that was a nevuah, then the parents could again, if they trust nevuah. You see, we could say words. It's not that we don't trust nevuah. We don't say, we say, I know Hashem promised it, I know it is. But that was when he said it to me, and I hadn't missed shul 3 days in a row. It was before I started hanging around with those girls and going to where they go, and must be a way that Hashem could change his mind if I'm not keeping my end of the bargain. All of our fears and hesitancy comes from our own perception that we're undeserving. And that has a whole bunch of cures. You know? It's so complicated, but there are cures in Mishpat that first of all, Hashem promised something, he promised something. Number two is, I struggles, I'm going to be good. Hashem sees where I'm going to end up also. And he expects ups and downs. And then there's answers of Rachamim. That, let's say I messed up. I'm not who I was then. Let's say I'm not getting better. Let's say I gave up. Hashem's a Racham. And he has forgiveness and mercy. And he's going to let me go. He's going to give me what I want anyway. There's 100 ways to hope. Now, I'm not saying that there's no pain, because that the reality is that none of us are there. We're not sure that we're going to deserve it in Mishpat. Even if I'm a tzaddik right now, I don't know if I'm going to be a tzaddik tomorrow. I think that right now I'm good, and all of Hashem's promises will come true. Right now, I can't speak about tomorrow, and therefore I'm worried. Not that Hashem I don't trust in me. Hashem is a Racham. Maybe I'm not deserving of Rachmanis. We always have a teretz in ourselves how it's not going to work for me. Now, so we have some kind of trepidation and fear. But maybe that's not a bad thing. It's real. It's raw. It's real. What would life be like if there was no worries and no fears and no chance of losing the bracha? What would life be like? You know, it would be like the worst thing in the world is Aravis. Every negative chazal is said about Aravis. Has no tam, no reach, no mitzvahs. This chazal cranks out anti-Aravis Torah. Then comes at the end, when you're supposed to say, oh, I'm sorry, we love you. No, we take him the last day of Sukkot, everything, right? Bash him on the floor, and everyone, at least the men's side, It's who can knock off more leaves in my 5 bangs, you know? What did our Rabbis do so bad? You know? You know what the story of Rabbis is? Our Rabbis are called Arvei Nachal. They're willows of the streams. What's the point of willows of the streams? It's the same thing as Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is defined in the Torah, or it's not defining Mitzrayim. Hashem is defining Eretz Yisrael in the Torah, and he says, you know what Eretz Yisrael is? It's not, the land that I'm giving you is not like the land of Egypt, that you water your plants over there like a gardener with a watering can. In Eretz Yisrael, you need rain. What does that mean? Mitzrayim has something called the Nile, the Ya'ar, and the Ya'ar overflows. And in Egypt, they plant all around the Ya'ar. It's called the Nile Valley. Everyone plants around the Ya'ar, and you dig irrigation canals from the Nile to your crops. And then the Nile rises up and feeds all your crops. You go home and it's all good. It's a cool thing to have a Ya'ar, you know? No worries. You just plant around the Ya'ar. Hashem says in Eretz Yisrael, you have no Ya'ar. In Eretz Yisrael, you need to depend on rain from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Now, that's a very, very hard thing. That difference is huge, because a farmer can do in Eretz Yisrael, can do everything he needs to do. Buy the best seeds, the best plows, and the best oxen. He can work from dawn to dusk every day for the whole year, and he still doesn't know if he's going to eat. Because there's one thing he doesn't control, and that's the rain. Most people can't fully invest themselves in something if they don't know it's going to come. It's way too painful and too risky. So what do? We give up our dreams and we just plant around our Niles. Whatever is easy and available and guaranteed, I'll do. But anything that I wanted that's not guaranteed, it's too risky to long for, too risky to dream. That's what Mitzrayim represents. Only longing for things that are guaranteed. Limiting your dreams and your personality to anything that has risk. Our Ravos are the same thing. Our Ravos are the Mitzrayim of the plant kingdom. They're called Arvei Nachal, willows of the streams. They grow along the banks of the river. They get irrigated by the stream that runs along them. They don't need rain. Now our Ravos and Mitzrayim both get the same thing. Klep, makos. Why? Our Ravos have no tam and no reach. You know why they have no tam and no reach? Because tam and reach comes from longing. When you plant somewhere where there's no water, you need rain. That farmer goes to sleep at night dreaming, longing, davening. He sits with a tehillim. He does chesed. Hashem, please. You develop personality when you live with dreams that are not here yet. You know what it means to anticipate. You know what it means to hope and to pray. You become deep and complicated and serious and poetic and all these depth of emotions. Person who's given everything he ever wanted doesn't have any tam and any reach. It's spoiled. Mitzrayim, the same thing. That's all the Ya'ar. There's no rain. No need for rain. It's all good. So no Mitzri farmer ever had to dream or worry. So you know what happens in Mitzrayim? Paro has a dream, and there's not one person in the whole country who can tell him about his dream, because they know nothing about dreams in Mitzrayim. It's a country without dreams. Like Aravos. Aravos and Mitzrayim are places and trees and without dreams, because they only invest themselves in things that are guaranteed and right here. And what happens to someone like that? You know? So it's what builds us is longing. We don't know the value of lying in your backyard and staring at the sun, at the stars through years, planning out your life, writing in a diary, planning, thinking, talking to your friends, planning your chasna from when you're 5 years old. This is what makes us. Do you really want to be so safe? What happens if everything was guaranteed and signed? Nobody would dream. We all have no tam and no reach. What we like about ourselves is our depth. You wouldn't want to live a life like that. You need to know that Hashem guarantees these things, and you need to know that yes, you could lose it, and it could mess up, and it keeps you honest, and it keeps you hoping. You know, But not having something guaranteed doesn't mean you suffer. Paris and Mitzrayim, there's no one in the whole country who knows anything about dreams. What does he need to do? He needs to find a Jewish boy in jail. He knows what dreams are. Yosef is the Balach Haloimois. That's who we are. His whole life is struggles. But Yosef is a dreamer. And Yosef is a tzaddik. You know what Yosef does? Yosef's in Potiphar's house and he's in jail. And he's in jail. And in 5 minutes in Potiphar's house, a Jewish boy sold into slavery. He's running the whole house. He goes in jail, and in 5 minutes he runs the whole jail. Comes out of jail, in 5 minutes he's running the whole Egypt. Nothing guaranteed. But dreamers are full of ur. You know what happens when you're a dreamer? Mitzrayim doesn't dream Yosef's dreams, but as soon as Yosef shows up in Mitzrayim, everybody near him starts dreaming. Comes to jail, and the guys who are sharing his room start having dreams. Sarah Mashkim, Sarah Oivim, Paroi. Dreams are contagious. When one person walks around with fire in his eyes and excitement, everybody else goes, wow, you're really investing yourself in something that's not here. You're not scared? And you look at Yosef, and you see Yosef walking around, doesn't have anything, he's a slave. But he's smiling the smile of somebody with dreams. And everyone around you goes, you're not worried to dream? What are you doing? You could break your heart. And they look at Yosef and they go, look, I could also have, maybe if it works for him, it'll work for me. Everybody starts dreaming. Now yes, there are Sarah Oifims who dream, it doesn't end up so good. But dreams themselves change your life. It makes life exciting and worth living. A life without dreams is just trudging through life. Yeah, they have hope, but but more than the hope, it's a story. Every moment is alive, pregnant with presence and moment. And I understand, but your life came true because of that dream. You woke up every morning, and you built worlds, right? Maybe the dreams, beautiful. I'll tell you the thing. Maybe the dreams were just the. The dreams don't change. What changes is I wanted to be a hero and deserve a princess. What changes is, when I was a little kid, that meant a cowboy. And then it became a teacher. And then it became a Rabbi. Then it became I want to do Kirov. And then it became I want to do Kirov and a little real estate on the side. You know? And then it became I just want to be the guy who walks my kids down the chuppah. It's always the same dream. It's the dream of being the author of some beautiful, purposeful thing. The dream's the same. The kid who wants to be an astronaut, his dream isn't to be an astronaut. His dream is to matter. His dream is to have a place in the world where he has a role in the symphony of existence. He's necessary. The girl who wants to be a princess, it's not that she wants to live in a house of burgundy and gold. Not that she wants these puffy gowns and crystal slippers. It's not the dream. The dream is I want to be so valued that people will be inspired to make themselves better because of me. It's a real dream. And how that looks changes in life. In the beginning it's a princess, then it becomes a nurse, then it becomes a teacher, then it becomes a mother. It's all the same dream. Our dreams are universal. The girl wants to be inspiring, the boy wants to be powerful. Why are those two things different? Is the whole nushmuz. That's how long the night should be. But the difference why those dreams are different is because men and women are opposites. How are we opposite? We're not better or worse. We're both godly. There's two types of godliness. There's two words the Torah uses to describe godliness. Kedusha and Tahara. Kadosh and Tahar. We use them like they're synonyms. Kadosh and Tahar. No, they're opposites. You achieve Kedusha, you preserve Tahara. You start tahar and you don't lose it. You defend tahara. Kedusha is you start chayil and you have to work hard and change and climb and become kaddish. The avodah of a boy is to become kaddish. He's born chayil, arrogant, lazy, selfish, lustful, self-centered, impatient, wild. The girl is born tahar, kind and sensitive and deep and pure. A girl is already born godly. A boy is born with the absence of godliness. Doesn't mean that he's a rasha. The boy's not judged by how he was born. He was born that way. The boy will be judged at the end of 120 years. Okay, so how many rungs did you climb up the ladder? Are you exactly where you started? How high did you get? And the girl is not going to be rewarded for being so godly because she was born that way. She's going to be judged. How much of your tahara did you hold on to? Did the world succeed at cheapening you? Did they degrade you? Did they pull you down? And if a girl can manage to hold on to her tahara, and the boy can manage to climb the ladder, then they meet at the top. Him experiencing the thrill of having achieved and climbed this journey, and her experiencing the bliss of having defended everything Hashem gave her. And together they're kadosh v'tahar, all of godliness, and they experience all of the bracha, because all pleasure in the world comes from kedusha and tahara. The joy of being perfect and whole, with no shame, and the beauty of having traveled huge journeys and become what I am. Each one of those is the opposite. You can't have it. A girl can never feel that journey pleasure, and the boy can never feel the pleasure of having always been a pristine. And together it's shleimus. And that's why we have whole different missions. The boy's whole life whole thing is about his drives, because drives is what, ambition is what makes you climb ladders. And the princess. So the girl, each one of us helps the other one. The fact that she's so good and so holy is what inspires him to climb. And the fact that he's climbing up the ladder is what helps her stay on top. Because it's so validating to her that look how hard he's working to climb to me. I'm going to hold on to this Tara. It's so powerful. It's so beautiful. The acknowledgement of her Tara is what allows her to stay there. So his journey validates her journey validates, and together we complete each other. But it's very different. The woman feels greatest when a boy feels great when he's becoming great. Accomplishment, achievement. His ambition is his goal. A girl feels like she's already there. She doesn't need to become something. Girls have something similar to ambition, but you can't have ambition when you're perfect. If you're godly, you don't have ambition. I'm there already. I don't have a need to fill myself. I'm already full. Girls have something similar to ambition. It's not that girls don't want to do something. A girl's ambition is two things. It's creativity. Creativity is not that I want to become something, but I want to do things with who I am. And similar to creativity is inspiration, nurturing. I want to use who I am to raise other people, to inspire people. So we both have desires to go further. The man's ambition is to fill himself. The girl's ambition is to overflow. So to the similar, yeah. What if someone crushes your dream? So what are you basically saying? You're saying, let me rephrase the question to help you answer it. What if someone vetoes God's opinion of you? What do you think? Can anyone veto God's opinion of you? God says you're a princess. Third grade insecure teacher says, you never had a student as difficult as you. I don't know, you're never going to be anything. Who's right? Why would you trust the teacher over? How could someone crush your dream? They can only crush your, right? I'm not saying it happens all the time, right? So there's two things. I'm giving you right now the pie in the sky way that you should not have your dreams crushed, because who are they to veto God? Unfortunately, we don't feel that secure, or we think that Hashem is going to let her veto him because the teacher's right. I'm not who I used to be. And Hashem's upset at me, like we said before. So, yeah, it could be anyone. It could be anyone. Nobody could veto God. It's like, but I'm going to give you a different answer. I'm giving you a philosophical answer now, just to show that it shouldn't happen, but it does happen, because we're not. But first, let's describe why it shouldn't happen. I'm going to give you the flip side of this, like show you like the. Knock her down. So knock her down. So what? Okay. So what should the girl do in that situation? What? The girl should say in that situation is right. So no one knows what you're talking about. I said in the earlier speech that a man was not in a great place, so he has when he sees the princess, it's a threat to him, because it's hard to live the whole life. I got to go home and feel comfortable in my house. I have to let loose and take my shoes off and feel free. But if my wife is so holy and so pure, and I feel like I'm doing things I shouldn't do, and I'm not working hard enough, I'm not davening well enough, I come home, I need to feel free. I don't feel free. I just feel guilty at home. I see she's doing everything, and I'm not, and life becomes a terrible pressure. The one place I need to feel safe, I don't feel safe because I just feel so uncomfortable. Like I say this thing, I said, how come every man by breakfast reads the cornflakes box for the 47th time? We know it by heart already. Who reads things twice, let alone 47 times? Why do we do it? Because behind the cornflakes box is your wife. And if you don't have the cornflakes box, you're going to look in her eyes. You know what you see in her eyes? You see everything that you promised when you were a chassan. If you're not that guy, it's very hard to look in the eyes. So you'd rather read cornflakes because it hurts to look in the eyes. So what do men do? See, the problem with wives is like, you don't let him read the cornflakes box, right? You say, okay, enough with the cornflakes. You're home for 5 minutes. We're going to talk. So now the guy's looking. So now what do you do if you have to look in their eyes? You see, with the diary, it's fixable. I have a diary. It's the same as a wife, right? A diary says everything you ever wanted to be. So Baruch Hashem, guys don't write diaries, I don't have a problem, right? But we get married. But look at it from the girl's side. The girl has a diary. She's not living that life. Diary is painful. What the guy feels by breakfast, looking at his wife in the eyes with those big eyes, waiting for me to be the tzaddik I promised, it's the same pain the girl has when she reads her diary, which says you're going to be a princess. She's not. So diaries are flammable, thank God. So you can burn a diary in salt. Wives don't burn so well, right? It's saying all this weird stuff that you can. Okay, so what do you do? What does the world do? The world does if you can knock her down and convince her and yourself that she's not so wonderful also. Then you can look at her in her eyes because you don't feel guilty anymore. And that's people do terrible things, they knock people down. So what's the woman supposed to do then? Right? What do you do? Well, first of all, you need to be tahar. If you're tahar and you really are good, then when the guy says this, you can't hurt someone who doesn't have doubts already about themselves.
No one in the world doesn't have.
Right, that's fair. That's fair. But so everything I'm saying is relative to what you are, right? He can't sell you on that you're worse than you really are. And you're better than him, so he's not going to really knock you down. Yeah, he'll point out a few flaws. It doesn't warrant him knocking me down. Yeah, I burned the chicken, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't do 4 things at a time, only 3 things at a time. I'm sorry. Or, yeah, I had a weekday, it was hard, and I got angry. And you know what? I was jealous of somebody once because life was hard, and they got a new shaitel, and we haven't even had a vacation in 2 years, and usually I'm great, and this whole week that doesn't warrant you coming home and feeling like we're equal, because you're sitting doing nothing in your life, you don't daven, you don't do anything, okay? So nobody could overstate your failings, right? So even if you're not perfect, they can't make you feel worse. They don't have that authority, right? Doesn't work. So what you're supposed to say is, the script is, listen, Tatala, you had a hard day at work. I get it, I feel bad, it's so hard. I thank Hashem that I don't have to go to work like you do. Or not in your office, in my office, everyone's so nice. And I don't have to go to shul 3 times a day with a minyan and make Zman Kriya Shema. I get it. It's so hard. But just because it's hard, don't take it out on me. You know? I'm not angry. I'm patient. I didn't marry you because you're perfect. I married you because you have a lot of potential. And I have a lot of patience. And I'm waiting. And as long as you're growing, I'm good. But don't, because you're not happy with your progress, punish me for believing in you. It's not a good thing to do. I'm just going to say. You talk to him, what's he going to say? You can only say that if you really believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. Most of them, that's, you know, and what's the guy going to say? You know, you're basically saying, husband, you're being a drama king. Like, stop it. Like, okay, stop it. You had a hard day. Okay, you're not. So you say this: girls don't marry guys because they're perfect. Why do girls marry guys? They have potential. This guy could be great. This guy could be amazing. You see his godless, and he's good enough. He showed that he's not a waster of potential. As Rabbi say, he tries hard. He's not a cop-out. But, you know, it's a very hard journey to climb ladders. And it's a very attractive thing for a girl to see a climber and a warrior. Right? There's different kinds of beauty in life. When I was a kid, I had these G.I. Joe dolls. We call them action figures, dolls. Actually, they all had scars built into their cheek. It was part of the molded plastic. Every one had a different scar. You know, they never made Scar Barbie. Right? Why? Because there's different types of beauty. On a guy who's a climber, scars are cool. Because what does scars say? This guy's a real climber. He's a warrior. On a girl, if she has a scar, what does it says? It says she's having a hard time holding on. Right? Tara is pure, you know, and again, that's just in looks. It's a very shallow way to talk about it, but it's a good metaphor, you know. It's a good metaphor. I don't know where we are. I don't even feel guilty because it's late and we're not sleeping, so I can get lost all I want. What were we saying? How did we get here? Where did my navigators go? What? Rerouting. What time is it?
Let's say you're a child.
Let's say you're what?
Not a couple, a child of a parent who your parents are two them.
Okay. Let's say you're not an adult. You're a child and your parents put you down. So let me say this. All my Torah I'm saying now, Torah is very, very big. God is very, very big. I'm giving neat little rules. Neat little rules don't deal with everything. My point in the beginning was that there are things in life that need different explanations. I talk about Sarah a lot. There are children who get cancer. They didn't do anything wrong. Most cases in the world are not children with cancer. So I can talk about that 90% of tsar in my life, every tsar I had was something I did wrong. There's no magic. Most of the things we talk about children is part of a different category. The pain of children. The pain of children is a different discussion, means a whole different thing. It's a good discussion to have, and it's important you say this and you understand Hanhaga, and then they're very powerful and very real, like everything else we're talking about. It's not a useful conversation for us. Because the conversations that are useful are the ones that, especially this late night, anyone who's here now deserves to be pushed somewhere that you benefited from being moist and never stay up. I understand. So let me just finish this thought. So I prefer to talk about, I'm going to come back to it in a second. It's your job to remember what I'm supposed to get back to. But let me just finish. I'll finish this quickly. The useful discussions are for grown-ups, people who acknowledge that my suffering is 99, not even 90, it's a 94, 99% caused by me. It's very easy to say it's all magic. It's not. The day we acknowledge that, people who don't like me, it's not a nace. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I'm insecure and I show off things, make people feel bad. Maybe I'm a taker. It's very hard to acknowledge these things. But kind, good, loving people who make other people feel good, they're liked. Not just liked, people don't leave them alone. Like, I have to wait in line every time I want to talk to Rabbi Kalish. You know? Can't get him on the phone. Right? It's not an accident. Because he's like the most loving person who sees, it's not like pathetic loving, oh, you never, I love you. It's like, I love you, you rock star. Like, it makes everybody feel like huge. You know? If people aren't calling you and waiting in line for you like Rabbi Kalish, it's because you're not finding their greatness and you're not making them feel great about themselves. You're not doing your thing. It's unbelievable how much of the world makes total sense. We see a few things that are not explainable, and therefore we get rid of all responsibility. Because, oh, it doesn't make sense. No, 99.9% of the world makes sense. Very few things that don't make sense. And to talk about those things is a cop-out. It's philosophy. It's nice to learn philosophy. But philosophy is God's business. How he runs his world, that's his business. My job is, how does Feldheim work? And Feldheim works, I understand. Okay, I don't have to figure out how God does things. You know, all the weird stuff and how that happens and how he explains it. The difference between philosophy and psychology is how the world works. Psychology is how I work. Our personal, thank you, that's okay. Our personal journeys are our insecurities and our fears, and why are we hiding, and why are we alienating people? How can we be better? The better you are, the more people love you. People want to, if you trust Hashem, that he made you, and he's good, then you like who you are. When you like who you are, and you believe it's going to be good, so you're not defensive, and you talk to people, you're not looking for validation from them and using them, you're asking how you can help them, and they feel that, and they want to be near you, and people want to help you, because they see you as one of the greatest things in the world, you're making people feel good. Confidence is so appealing, and confidence comes when you know Hashem's taking care of you, when you know Hashem runs the world. All this stuff is in our control. All of our pains are from our cop-outs, from our selling outs, all this. Now, let's go back to what happens when the mice were knocked around. So, I'll consider that your Yom Leida is not the day you were born. Your birthday is the day that you were knocked around. They didn't ruin you. You are, I figure out how to say this. Very powerful word. I like to I'll do a lot lately of taking chazals that people think are like heebie-jeebie magical. I deal a lot from people who go off the derech. So they tend to know all these chazals and they make fun of them. So I like to show them how powerful and real the chazals are. So there's a chazal that everybody knows that a baby's in the womb. We're going to end with this, okay? I'm going to tell you this, take a few minutes, not a short word. It's deep and it needs a little work and we have to do it together. But when the baby's in the womb, he learns Kol HaTorah Kula, and then the malach comes and hits him on the lip. And when you get hit in the lip, you forget the whole Torah. And then the rest of life, you have to try to recover the Torah. Right? Then we learn this story. So, from people, we can accept it. People who become cynical, they make fun. Kids learn in the womb, the malach hits you, it gets where the den comes from. There's just too many weird things. It's very easy to make fun of. So here's how I explain the Chazal. And you'll see, when you understand the real explanations, you realize that the simple, practical thing is even more beautiful than the magical one. It's not a cop-out, it's just, this is what Hashem meant, it's so beautiful. Let's go in order. It's going to sound a little weak in the beginning. As you get closer to the end, it'll become more and more beautiful, more and more real. But let me start simple. Let's replace the magical words with real words. Okay, so let's first of all, let's say what is Torah? The Hebrew word. What is Torah really? If you had to use a nice English word for what the Torah is, Wisdom. Wisdom's a good word. Wisdom. What is wisdom? What? What is knowledge? Get to the most nugget of what now. Knowledge is what? What do you have when you have knowledge? Knowledge is the word we use for someone who possesses what? Same is similar to knowledge. Understanding and knowledge share what? What do you understand and what do you know? What? Life? Okay, you already skipped to the next stage. I wanted an answer before life. Sort of like, what's the first? Truth. Okay? Torah is just the truth. Okay? But I don't like the word truth. It's a very philosophical word. It's cold. What is a better word for truth? A tangible, practical word for truth. Something that means something to me. What's another word for truth? It's not philosophy. What is it? You don't have to get it. I'm asking weird questions that don't lead themselves to answers. When I say the answer, it'll make sense how I asked it, but you have no way of figuring that out. Real, beautiful. Very good. I shouldn't have knocked myself. You were doing good. Okay, you're good. We're good. Okay? Okay? So after 3 hours, you speak the same language. Okay? So, reality. So when I say Torah, what did we just say? We said that Torah means truth, and truth is reality. So when I say, I learned that children know the whole Torah, what does that mean? That children live in reality. They say everything exactly as it is. That's what all children are. Children, it's only once we go through life and we mess up, we start defending ourselves, that we start to distort things and spin them and twist them and pour water on them. But when we're kids, we see things as they are. Truth. Reality. Okay? So when we say that a kid knows the whole Torah, what do we mean? That babies, children, innocent things, they live in reality. Okay. Then we say the Malach hits them, they forget the Torah. What does that mean? So firstly, it's simple, then we'll get deeper. Malach is just another word for messenger. Malachs are messengers, meaning children live in reality, know everything as it is. They're just so real. Until whoever Hashem sends knocks them around. And we get knocked around, we start to lose sight of reality. We start to distort things because we don't believe got knocked around. That's called forgetting Torah. If Torah is reality, so when do you forget reality? When the Malach hits you? Let's make it a little more real. When I was a rabbi in Pennsylvania, we had this little glass room behind the house, and I used to sit there. I grew up in the city. I never saw grass, just concrete. So it was nice to sit with grass all around, this gold glass. And I would hear my drashos in there, in shiurim. One day I'm sitting there, this beautiful bird, not a pigeon, they had all these new kinds of birds. And this beautiful bird flies, bam, right into the glass window. The glass wall didn't see it and falls down in a little heap. And I was like watching the bird, I saw what happened. It was like, why did I have to see that? Like, why did Hashem want me to see that? And I go out on the little walkway around the glass room. I see the bird's alive. He's fiddling around. I said, what's he? And then 2 minutes later, he picks himself up a little wobbly and he flies off. But I was thinking as he flies off, will he ever be able to fly again the same way he used to fly? Because until now, he knew that the sky's open and he could fly like the symbol of freedom as a bird. Just careless and carefree flying through the sky. But now he discovered that only 99% of the sky is open. Every once in a while there's a really hard spot. And he never knows when's the next time he's going to hit that hard spot. So for the rest of his life he has to fly like this with his little beak tilted to the side, so he doesn't have a full-on, a certain hesitancy and a reluctance in the way he flies. He has to fly like this. Never going to fly again with that carefree thing. It's a very powerful image, that image of the bird. Let me ask you, if you were painting a picture of that, of humanity, what is the human moment of when we hit that glass wall that we then spend the rest of our lives reluctant and hesitant? It happens to us too. It's part of life. We start off flying, little kids are flying, excited, wide-eyed, and then one day we get knocked around We get hit by the malach, and from now on we forget the reality, and we distort things, and we're hesitant. The birds, we can define that moment as when he hits a glass wall. That's when he forgets his carefree reality, and he's living in this illusion of restriction. And what's the human? If you were painting a picture, you wanted people to feel that a human. Is there a moment? There's so many moments like that. But what's a universal moment of a person hitting the wall for the first time that you know they're going to be reluctant from now on? What do you think is the universal moment for that? So the moment I think of is probably the truth for many kids. This is the first time they hit the wall. Is that when we're 2 years old, we're learning how to talk, and we start saying words, every single thing a Jewish little kid said is, oh my God, he's a genius. He's so adorable. Every guest who comes, you try and get the kid to say that weird word he couldn't say right, and like how adorable it is. Kids learn when they're 2 that they're rock stars. And everything they say is like the most adorable thing. And they can perform, and people get attention. And the kid feels like the most unbelievably appreciated thing in the world. And everything he says is diamonds. And eventually they feel powerful, and they can exert their power. I'll talk to certain people will never get me to perform. And like, we don't understand their system, but they know, they control, they have their intuitive way that they decide when they're going to disseminate their cuteness, So every time a kid opens his mouth, he knows everyone's going to go, oh my God, so beautiful, so smart. Until one day, something's going on, something important. The kid comes in, there's people in the house, and he says his little cute line. Everyone goes, shh, not now, shake it, quiet. And the kid doesn't know what hit him. I understand. I'm not a genius and a rock star. I'm bad. The first hitting of a wall that most kids experience is being shushed. And then for the rest of his life, every time he wants to open his mouth, some part of him wonders, is this a genius thing or a shush thing? He never feels safe to live carefree. That's the human moment. And this is what Chazal, there's still one more, the most important step coming, so I'm not at the punchline. We just finished stage 2. This is what, let's plug this into my story now. So what Chazal are saying now, we have a little more data. Chazal are saying that every child in the world lives totally in reality, flying through the sky, until the malach comes and hits him on the lip. What's the hitting on the lip? Till they get shushed. And when they get shushed, they start to live reluctant. They lose their total presence in reality, and they live in this alternative world of fear and insecurity. It's one last step. Still a little cute, but a little wishy-washy. Comes very solid in a second. The question is now, that's a nice vart, but we don't get this dent when we get shushed. Everybody has that dent long time before the shush. So it can't really mean that the dent came from the malach hitting. It would be cute if it meant that, but it doesn't mean that because the dent was first. So what's the vart? The vart is, it's so powerful, is that everybody in the world was shushed. We don't know how damaging the shush is. What most people live their life is we think that our job in life was to fly through the sky. I was a bird, I was flying, it was so amazing, everything was laid out in front of me. And then that Rabbi, that Chavrusa, that Shadchan, someone came and they shot me out of the sky, they ruined my life. They shot me down and I'm never the same since then. Everything was amazing. And then a few different options happen. Some people will never fly again because they're scared. Some people will dafka become the best flyers just to show that Rebbe that he was wrong. Their whole life becomes defined by the Rebbe said. So everybody is changed by the problem, by the moment where they got shot down. One guy will never fly again. He's never going to be himself again. This Rebbe ruined his life. The other one, he's flying again just to prove it wrong. So he's not living his life. The Rebbe became his God. It's in his head. Occupies so much real estate in his life. When we got shot out of the sky, for most of us, it ruins us. Our entire lives become reactions to that. Proving it to him, to ourselves, to everybody else, that it's not true, that I was right. It cripples us. And this is what causes most people tzar. That was the question. The question was what happens when you're a child, you're knocked around and you lose yourself. So I'm going to give you the answer to that now. It took a long time. So going back to put the chazal together, kids know the whole Torah, kids live in reality, they're flying to the sky. Till the malach comes and hits us, till the Hashem Shliach, whoever it is, who shushes me, and now for the rest of my life, I forget Torah. I have a new world. Torah is reality. My new world is not reality. It's proving this guy wrong. His worldview, his thoughts, that's what I live for. I'm flying in the sky of his ideas. The dent didn't come then. So what does it mean the dent didn't come then? So this is maybe one of the most important things to understand about life. Because every one of us was damaged by our negative experiences. And this is the key to recovering from them. Could be the most important thing we'll ever hear. Is that when I wake up in the morning, I'll go to the bathroom, I look in the mirror over the top of the sink and I see this little dent. You know what the dent says? That dent was there before the shush. So I thought that my purpose in life was to fly, and this person came and ruined my life by shooting me out of the sky. Everything was good. How did Hashem let him shoot me out of the sky? It was perfect. Everything was going to be good. He ruined me. Then you look in the mirror and you see the dent. He didn't the dent was there. What does it mean that the dent was there? How did the dent what's a dent? The dent isn't the mark from the shush. You weren't created to fly and he ruined you and shot you down. You know what you were created for? You thought your birthday was when you were born. And he came and shot you down and ruined your life. No. You were created with a dent. You know what this thing says? This thing says, Rabbi, place finger here and shush. You weren't created to fly and he ruined you by shushing you. The purpose of life is to be flying. Then to be shushed. That's your birthday. Life isn't about flying and getting shot down and ruined. Life is about flying and getting shot down. Life is about learning how to fly again. That's what life is. Hashem created us to learn how to fly again. Your birthday wasn't the day you were born. Your birthday was the day you got shot down. He didn't ruin your life. That's you. You were not finished. It's called the Makeh B'Patish. The Makeh B'Patish is the shot that shoots you out of the sky. And we spend our whole lives moaning about that. It ruined me. It didn't ruin you. That's where you start. All the tsar, all the stuff that happened didn't touch you. Nothing bad happened. You were on script. It was supposed to happen. The purpose of life is to learn how to fly again. When you're lying in a heap on the floor, that's where we start. And you look at it every morning, you're reminded of this. When you look in the mirror, you see that lines. Those lines say, he didn't ruin me. This was here first. He was supposed to put his finger here. Yes. Good people don't do that. Hashem uses Rishayim to do his dirty work. And he's going to get punished for being the guy Hashem uses to do dirty work. There's always someone available to shoot people out of skies. But Hashem used him to do what was supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen. This is the most liberating thought in the world. All the things that ruin our lives and say, oh my God, what happened? It's not worth it. It's not true. It was supposed to happen. You are supposed to learn how to fly again. And that's the real answer to these questions of all the tsar. Tsar, we think that the tsar is derailing me, and I want to know why Hashem derailed me. Hashem didn't derail you. Delayed birthdays. It makes sense. Then we understand why we're learning Torah before. We're learning Torah all the time. We're living in reality all the time, waiting for the final step of creation. It's the shush. And when the shush comes, it's not always the shush. The shush is the best metaphor. But when whatever it is that shoots you out of the sky, That's where we begin, and our goal is to learn, and it frees you of all of the resentment. The resentment is that what could have been, I'm ruined. We weren't ruined. That was the script. This is the real answer to these things. Now, Chazal learn. Look at the Chazal with the Torah Noam. It's the most beautiful Chazal in the world, nicer than the magical one. So all Chazals are like this. It's just the deepest things in the world. To learn Chazal like grown-ups, and it's just every time you just fall in love with the Torah more and more and more. And that Kodesh Baruch Hu gave us insights, and He didn't just create the world. He let us understand all of it, and it's just every step along the way is more beautiful than the one before. May we be zoiche to see our lives the way Hashem wants us to see them, and to understand that He benched us with the ability to fly, to re-fly in His sky. And we should find the koyach to pick ourselves up and fly and become everything He meant us to be. Tzlacha and bracha and shidduchim and nachas and parnasa, whatever it is that we need. All right. Call to